but maybe like forward thinking, like if you think about the technology and like now being able to see the art of the possible, where do you see unstructured data playing a role in adding value at Johnson Controls?
Well, unstructured data, there's a use case, and I'll call it an edge case at the moment, but there's a use case where we want to look at vendor terms. That may be more in the semi-structured than unstructured, but when you're looking at vendor contracts or client contracts on client paper or vendor paper, they're not in your format, right? So the idea of being able to ingest those and understand terms, conditions, risks, that's a potential that's out there at the moment. We're also looking at a couple of use cases around supply chain modeling and being able to do predictive analytics on some of the information and some of the supplier metrics that we get and how we grade suppliers and whatnot, and be able to understand where they're trending and possibly take action prior to something being necessary. Also around contract renewal and contract upsells, being able to look at the customer churn and say, okay, based upon the data that we have on this customer and their interactions with us, they're at a risk to change suppliers, or they're at a risk to drop a contract, or they may be a great potential for another contract, right? So having that kind of predictive analytics, that's maybe more often to the data and analytics side, but I look at data and analytics and RPA and ML all being, this giant Venn diagram of they all use each other, they can all benefit from each other. So we have plenty of opportunities like that. We've been looking at different tools. C3 AI, Azure has a number of in their stack, Abacus. We haven't settled on a final, vendor yet. I think we're trying to gather more use cases and then kind of understand what our needs going to be before we really decide on a tool. But those cases are there, certainly, and that'll only grow as the capabilities of the tools and I hate to use the buzzword AI, but as those things mature and you see models that kind of center around various concepts like supply chain or customer management, or, their tools and expertise will come out in those particular tools and those particular facets.